Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Potato Salad 007, and I'm here to bring you the latest updates about Rainbow Six Siege. Ubisoft has put out patch notes for their test server, so that means that these are not updates that are necessarily going to be in the game, but updates that they're testing to potentially be in the game, and I thought it'd be interesting to go over those and also give my opinions and suggestions about them as well. The first thing that they detail is their shield changes. So as you can see on the screen right there, you can see their description. And what they're changing about that is basically when you are hip firing now and have a shield in front of you, you are going to be less accurate than you were before. So typically, you're not super accurate when you're hip firing with a pistol and you have the shield in front of you, but a lot of players have been frustrated lately about getting headshotted and getting randomly killed, especially if it's Montagne sitting on a diffuser and he's just hip firing you and you really cannot do anything about it. In a skill-based game like Rainbow Six Siege, it's really frustrating to lose to something that's not really skill-based. It doesn't take that much effort to, hip fire a pistol and randomly shoot and kind of shoot in the direction of somebody. So I think this is a very welcome change within the community, and it brings a good nerf to shields, but I don't think it really does that much, so I don't think too many shield operators will be upset about it. The second thing they said is ballistic shield melee. So now when you are performing a melee on somebody with your shield, you will not kill them, but you will down but not out them. So they will be downed, and you will essentially just have to melee them a second time to kill them. I don't know how big of a difference this will make. I feel like if you're on a 1v2 as a Montagne and somebody comes at you and you're sitting on a diffuser and you melee him and he's downed, if you were to go for the kill at that point, his teammate on the other team might be able to come up and kill you, but if you're a smart Monty, you just don't go for the kill because he can't do anything about it, and you continue to sit on the diffuser while the other guy comes. So I think we have to see how this plays out in the test servers. I think it'll be interesting to see how everything goes, but I can't say that this seems like a big change, and personally I feel like there needs to be a couple changes to shields. I'll definitely detail those in the end, because first I want to just give you the upfront information that Ubisoft is giving us, and then I'll add some suggestions later. So second is Echo. Now they're really doing this in response to Echo's high ban rate. He's just a frustrating guy to play against, especially on bomb, since ranked is only bomb now, where essentially he can just kind of hide randomly in the house and prevent you from defusing. Even without his ability to sonic boom, just having 2 extra cameras that can move around and drone out without having to be someone like Mozzie where you have to actually capture the cameras, and they're not easily visible either, especially with the Echo bug glitch where, his yokai drone is invisible. That's an incredibly powerful skill to have. So what they said here is they're reducing his yokai sonic burst disorienting effect base duration to 7 seconds, down from 10 seconds. So before, when you were Echo droned and you were made drunk or whatever by the drone, you were in that state for 10 seconds. Now you will be in it for 7 seconds. Keep in mind this is a test server, so this is not 100%, but this is what they're testing out at least. Can't say that this is like a huge change or anything to him where I feel like it'll really affect his pick and ban rate. And they really do need to fix the bug where his drones are invisible, because I feel like that's another big part of why people are banning him a lot. If something's echoing you and also able to see where you are without you being able to see it, like Mozzie where you can see all of his drones, that's a huge advantage that the other team has over you. In the end, I think it's a welcome change, but it's not enough. And I think that's kind of be the theme of Ubisoft's notes here, and like I said at the end, I'll say more. I'm trying to keep myself here, but I think that's going to be the theme with a lot of these things. It's a good step in the right direction, but it's not enough. So the next thing that they are testing in the server is some buffs to Glaz. So the first thing they said is it reduced time it takes to trigger the vision penalty when moving or rotating, lowering the overall vision penalty when moving. So my understanding of this is when you're looking through Glaz's scope and you're seeing the people with his thermal vision, it's not going to go away as quickly as it does now. As you see, the second thing that they wrote is the movement time before complete vision is lost is now 6 seconds up to 2.5. So when you're in those 3 stages, it'll basically take you 2 seconds per stage, if I'm understanding this right. 6 seconds total to go from having thermal vision to not having any thermal vision whatsoever, which is huge because it's 2 times the amount that it was before, which was 2.5 seconds. So 6 seconds to 2.5 in a game where every second counts. I think that's a good buff to Glaz, but I think that he does need a little bit more to go back to what he used to be. He's one of the operators they seem to never be able to balance. He's gone from overpowered and underpowered and just back and back again. It's just ridiculous, especially with Plane being taken out of the ranked rotation. He loses all of his utility. I rarely ever see him on ranked and platinum on console. I'm also playing on PC, but I just started, so I haven't been able to play any ranked games yet. But I'm sure I really won't see him very much there either. So the next thing is something that I'm really happy about, but again, it's something that I feel like needs to have more to it. And this is the nerf to Jackal. And I know this is my first video, so none of you know this yet, but I absolutely cannot stand Jackal when I'm on defense because I'm a roaming operator, and Jackal bothers the hell out of me. So I'm gonna read what they said here. They reduced the number of pings from a scan to 4, down from 5. Tracking time reduced by 5 seconds. This means that instead of 5 pings over 25 seconds, it is 4 pings over 20 seconds. So essentially what you're seeing on the screen right here is that they're saying that Jackal now has 1 less ping and it takes 5 seconds away. So when you were roaming and you were getting tracked by Jackal, you were getting tracked for 25 seconds. Now there's 1 less ping that it's gonna give, and you're being tracked for 5 less seconds. But I don't think this is going to do anything to get rid of his ban rate. He has a extremely low win rate, and yet he continues to get banned because just nobody likes to play against him. I personally try to get rid of Jackal as much as possible. If you're in the prep phase and you're just reinforcing a hatch and you're getting tracked for that, and then you're back in the room and you get wall banged, that's so freaking frustrating. If he uses all 3 scans on you as well, you know, it takes like up to a full minute of the match, and it's really, really bothersome to deal with something like that. So I don't think that this is really going to do too much for him, especially because it still adds up to a minute. 20 seconds over the 3 pings is the 60 seconds, that's a minute. So that's a third of the round that you're just spending trying to get away from Jackal. And I don't think that's something that anybody wants to do. And, you know, I think there's a lot of opportunity for them to nerf Jackal in a way that doesn't really hurt him that much, and I'll definitely go over those things later. But as for now, I'm still continuing to move through, so we're on our next thing, which is Maverick. So this is another very welcome change, and this is one of the few things that I felt like was, you know, finally, and it's put in place. Maverick's breaching torch will now be much louder. I think this is a really great thing for every other operator besides Maverick. It's really, really annoying to get killed by a Maverick when he's just going up and laying next to a reinforced wall, and then he just wall bangs you and you have no idea where he is and you never heard him. And with all the sound issues in this game, it makes it even worse because the sound has been very, very buggy lately, and this is just the icing on the cake. So I'm happy that they're doing this, and I think that this is definitely enough of a nerf to Maverick. I think that he still does need a direct counter, but you know, otherwise I think that it's an interesting thing for them to do. So next up is Nock, or Nook. I have no freaking idea how to say that. Anyway, so what they said is they increased Nook's ability duration to 12 seconds and increased the refill timer to 12 seconds. With the longer duration and cooldown, you'll be able to better leverage the ability. I think this is another very welcome change because I thought I was going to love Nock when she came out, and I bought her and I was so excited. And I constantly felt like her ability was going away before the push that I needed to make was completely done. It would be like I would take out one camera and then by the time it was over, I was at the next camera already. Or like I was at another place where something could see me. And especially with the defense having so many cameras now, whereas if they're bringing a Valkyrie, an Echo, and a Mozzie, they have 3 from Mozzie, 3 from Valkyrie, 2 from Echo, and then maybe they have like a Frost with a bulletproof camera. You know, that's... That's 9 cameras plus the cameras on the map. So it's like, there's cameras all over the map, and when you're Nock and you're running around like that, it's like you get past one camera, but then there's a Valcam there, there's a Echo drone, there's whatever. And I think it still is really useful that you can't ping because they can't make the callouts and say exactly where you are. So I think that is a really cool thing about Nock, but at the same time, when she's sprinting, you can see that she's there, so you know she's coming down the hallway. And I've gotten a lot of kills like that where I've seen the general idea of where she is on camera, and, you know, the Nock kind of lets her defense down thinking, nobody can really see me, I'm cool. And then I just go and like headshot her in the hallway because, you know, she's expecting to be completely silent. So I think this is another thing where they need to do a little bit more, but I think that it's definitely a welcome change, especially for me, because I might start playing Nock more after this. So I think the goal of this was done. So last but not least, we have one other change here, which is the idle kick timer. The idle kick warning will display 10 seconds before a kick. That's pretty self-explanatory. When you're AFK and you're about to be kicked out, it'll give you a 10-second warning, which I think is really fantastic too, because especially on PC, since I've been playing a lot lately, sometimes after I die, I'll go on another tab or something real quick when I'm in a casual match, because I just get bored of watching people walk around for 2 minutes and do absolutely nothing. So I think it is really cool. I don't know if it's going to have sound or anything like that. We'll have to see exactly how it plays out, but I think it is a really good idea for them to do. So now we get to the suggestions portion. I basically want to go back through the list here and tell you what I think would be a good idea, and also bring in some other ideas I've seen throughout the community. So the first thing is shield changes. I have like a kind of unconventional idea that I think a lot of people really don't like, and I really like it personally, but I'm not a shield operator or shield main or anything like that, so we'll have to see how the shield people think about it, but this is my idea. I think that all shields should have a breaking point at some point, albeit it should be incredibly high, but I think it should happen. And it might sound like a bad idea at first, but listen to this real quick. When you're on defense and a Montagne is sitting on the bomb, and he has his full shield deployed, and he's not shooting back at you and he's in a corner sitting on the bomb, and you're someone like Jaeger, who has no nitro cell, no impacts, no other way of killing him, you have no way to win that round. Especially if he's in front of either a reinforced wall or he's in front of something else that goes outside. You just have nothing to do there, and good Montagne players will not pull back up the shield to go shoot at you. They'll just sit there on the bomb the entirety of the time and let the diffuser go out, and if you so happen to take advantage of a mistake that a Montagne makes while sitting on the diffuser, you're still not going to have time to defuse it if he's been sitting on it for half the time. So I think that would be a good idea. Another thing that they've discussed that I don't see in here is making his animation slower, so if he goes to shoot at you, it'll take him longer to get his shield down and up again, which I think is a really good idea too, especially meleeing wise, and if they're going to add this thing where meleeing is down but not out and you have to do it twice, I think that'll be a really fantastic thing, but again, I don't think that it's enough. I think that there needs to be some reasonable way for somebody to be able to beat out a Montagne when they're the last person left and they have no gadgets or anything, because I don't feel like there's really a lot of operators like that, where if they're the last person left and you have 5 people, if they don't have a particular gadget, they can't beat you, which is how I feel about Montagne. So I think that it would be an interesting thing to see it, and again, I think that it should be like incredibly high. It's not going to be like Blackbeard's shield where it breaks in like 2 seconds. You might need like half of your gun's whole ammo or just like something like that, and I'm sure there would be a way to balance it out. Because I guarantee if they put that in the game, it would rarely ever happen. It would. It would rarely ever happen that the shields would break, because people wouldn't really be going for those during the game, because they'd have to reload probably 5 times while engaging with a shield operator, and they'd get killed while they're reloading. So I don't think it's something that would really be like a huge nerf to the shield operators. I think it's personally a great idea. But that's also because it's my idea, so I could be completely wrong. If you guys have something else to say, I'm completely willing to hear it. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. And I'm interested to see what else the community has to offer about, these suggestions and the rest of the things that I'll go over as well. The next thing I'm going to go over here is Jackal. Now, obviously he's going to be buffed and called Trackle, because that'll make him amazing. Suggestion done. Alright guys, so that's the end of the video. Nah, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I feel that Jackal actually has a lot of potential without even scanning anything. Now, I think he should still be able to scan, don't get me wrong, but I'm just going to go into the reason why a lot of Jackals have a very low win rate. When you are going and looking at footprints, that's a huge ability to see where somebody's going and where somebody's been. You don't even need to scan them. And I feel like they could have put him in the game without being able to scan people as well, especially if they made the footprints last longer. I think they last 45 seconds right now. If they made them last like 60 or a minute or something like that, if he could just follow the footprints without scanning, that's a huge thing. He gets to see where all those people are going if he follows them, and probably get a flank on them too, because they're not just going to be watching that angle. I mean, maybe they might be, but it's not an 100% thing. And that makes it a fair gunfight at that point, because he knows where they are, but they don't even know if he's coming. If they're just peeking a door, you don't know, but if he was smart, he'd drone it out too, if he's a platinum player or a diamond player or even a gold player. That's a huge thing right there. If you're following footsteps and you're droning too, and you follow them to a point and then you drone around that point, that's a huge advantage over the other people on your team and over the defenders too, just being able to know where somebody is 100%. That also makes Caveira more of a direct counter too, because she would, it would be even harder to find her than it is now. But more of my idea for Jackal too is that he shouldn't be able to scan footprints that were left in the prep phase. I really don't like that 3-speed operators are just pretty much anyone that goes and gets a hatch and then returns to the room, even if they are roaming or whatever. They're able to get scanned just from having to go get a hatch, which is an essential point of the game. You can't not get the hatches in a lot of the objectives because you don't want the enemy to be able to play vertically on you, which is a huge thing to defend. So you have to get the hatches, and then Jackal basically takes advantage of you doing something that is essential to your team winning. And it's kind of a skillless operator, if you want me to be honest. Holding a button and scanning some footprints doesn't really qualify as like a super skillful operator such as a Montagne, who, if is played correctly, is incredibly skillful, and there's other operators around there too. But, you know, Jackal just comes up to some footprints and then scans them, and then he's overpowered in some of the games and in the meta. I don't know why his win rate is so low. I think it's because people play him so wrongly and too aggressively. When people scan him, oftentimes they'll just chase around and people will be like, hey, the Jackal's coming for me, I'm gonna look behind me. And then he comes up and they're outgunned pretty much. And I feel like that's probably why Jackal's win rate is so low. But when you have a good player playing Jackal that knows how to do it, he is incredibly overpowered and incredibly annoying. I feel like it would be a really good thing to limit his scans. I like where they're going with this already, but I don't think he should be able to scan footprints in the prep phase. And I think a lot of Jackal players in general should just focus on trying to look at the footprints rather than scanning people, because that's a big thing. If you're looking at the footprints and then droning people out based on those footprints, that can give you a lot of intel, especially if you're making callouts to your team. I think that'll make Jackal's win rate instantly go up. That would be an incredible way to play Jackal, in my opinion. Alrighty guys, so that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you for sticking around for my first ever video. I'll be coming out with some new stuff soon. Let me know what you guys want to see down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.